Hello, this is an assessment of a Bechstein Model 9 upright piano, 1904, and first of all, there's a cosmetic assessment here. Obviously, you can see the nail marks at the back there. The case has generally not been worked on since it was made, I'm sure about that, so it could do with work. And this music stand here is a replacement music stand. The original one was a swing one from here. The swing one had an advantage of being higher up. It was the height of a grand piano music desk, and that's why they're better height really, because grand pianos are ideal posture height, but the modern pianos always have this type on, which is not really as good. Having said that, it's obviously quite functional. Now the key tops, they're good ivories here, but in the middle they've come off. What happens is when a piano dries out, the wood dries out and the ivories come off, and you stick them back on, and very often they come off again, unless they've really been put on professionally. I could redo though ones that have come off and then check the glue by tapping them on the others to see if any others are on their way out. So casework scuffed, and would make a really nice, if we repolish this it would look really special and really spectacular, but the Model 9 isn't a brilliant piano. It's the design, particularly around the break point here, is not good. The tone difference, the Model 10, which is a taller piano, is actually a straight strum. It's a better piano, longer strings even though it's straight strung, and the damping problem isn't the same here. You get really good damping on the 10. So I always regard a Model 9 as, well, you can make it pretty good, but it's never going to be a brilliant piano. Now, taking the panels off, this piano has been restrung not that long ago, probably in the 80s I would think. The soundboard's pretty perfect. I don't think it's been restored, it just didn't need any restoration. And the hammers and dampers have been changed. They've been recovered, I think. They've been used a lot since then. Some of the hammers are quite loose, like this one here. That's to do with it's either the screw or it's the hinge, and in this case it's the hinge that's loose. If it's the screw, you just tighten up the screw. In fact, there aren't that many. This stuff seems to be the worst one. Another loose one here. You can see it wobbling around. And tone, very weak tone here. That's largely because it's been used a lot and needs reshaping. But in fact, the recovering felts here are probably a bit not that strong anyway. I'll recover with replace the hammers with Renner hammers if you're going to work on it at all. Key tops here when you see one of them's come off, it's at the end there's kept it, but really because of the drying out of the wood, the key tops tend to come off, and also when it's played here, we need to just check by tapping to see if any of the others are coming off. Could try and improve those, but you can see the strong line that comes between the front and the back here. When you, however well you do it, it's really hard to get rid of that line. At the end here you see there's not much of a line at all, but in the middle you can see it strongly. We'll certainly improve that, but we can't guarantee getting it, and there's probably as good as we'll get it, or maybe a bit better. They're also very dirty, so they need cleaning. Apart from the hammers being loose, some of them, and needing reshaping and perhaps changing, I don't think it's economically worth changing them. We can certainly improve the tone. The dampers are varying. Some of them come off very early and some off later, so that's something we can do. They're coming off well with the pedal, but it's with the keys that they're tending to come off too early, so that makes the touch feel wrong. I was also told there was some moth in the piano, and that's absolutely true. It's underneath the keys, and if you look closely you can see where they've been nibbled, these felts here, and there's quite a lot of evidence of it. The back rail as well, the middle rail, the front rail not quite so bad. Well, you can see the eggs there, so there's quite a lot of moth. And this is the key rail, you can see lots of moth on that, so yeah, definitely. What needs to be done is it needs to be treated, ideally put something in to prevent moth from coming, like mothballs, and these felts need to be replaced. Also tested the tuning pins. They're pretty tight throughout, so that's good. They've obviously been replaced when it was restrung, and they're nice and tight throughout the whole piano. So that's a Model 9 upright piano, Bechstein Model 9 1904. And it's got some moth under the keys. The key tops, some of them are coming off or have come off, and they need really quite a bit of work to get them, make sure they're not going to come off in future. We need to professionally stick them down or replace them completely. The casework could do with the polish as well. The music stand should have the other one that's higher up here. This one's possibly functional, but the proper height one is nicer. It's like a grand piano height music stand. The piano's been restored. The hammers need refacing. There's quite a lot of loose ones. There's got a bit of work to do in regulation in general. It's a good solid piano with a pleasant tone, but soggy because it needs the hammers worked on. Thank you very much for listening.